Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, a state rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. He locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for ELO farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro. Likes to edit posts and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the cup is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that ain't hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Divorce, but he can't.
All right, hello everybody. Fauger says, did Jesse sleep through his alarm? David's apt to get hoarse if he has to rap for much longer. I have to remove this image of Yermo because they stopped that that GoFundMe site. I don't know why. They did very well with that thing. Now, Kraai, how come it looks like terrible? Huh? How come looks like terrible? What? All right, buddy. Let's see if we can get this going. Yes, I go here. Yes. Okay, now this also looks a little Funkovich. But there it is. Kosi is also playing a game today. He's at this camp tournament. We really, unfortunately, doesn't have a chance to get a norm. And he's playing like a 1600. Well, I have a feeling if I click this, you're not going to be able to see the board too well. You can see the board pretty good, so we could check in on the position every once in a while. Kosia's position looks very nice. The knight on c3 is obviously a chump. And ChessDojo, maybe I assume that's got to be Mr. Bruce in the chat. Maybe he'll join me. But yeah, like Mr. Bruce, he's playing some dude rated 1690. Kosia's black here. So anyways, we're going to do this business. We'll check in on the Kosia every once in a while. First up is Holly. We don't have that many today, so well, in a way, it's a bad thing for the dojo, but it's a good thing for me. 19 is manageable. Let's call it that. So, Holly, welcome to the dojo. Tell us something about yourself. And you've done some good work. And you actually haven't graduated here. Maybe you graduated and fell back down. I don't know. But I think you'll make it soon enough. You got a very nice heat map over here. Done some good work. Welcome to the dojo. Let's see if you got some clubs going on. Aus Berlin. That's Holly aus Berlin. And actually, I just want to say, I'm very happy that we're starting to get more individualized clubs here at the dojo. German dojo is, of course, great because we can have a bunch of people, if they want to talk chess and talk in German, great. But the more localized clubs, I'm really a big proponent of, because then, you might want to do some work in real life, as they say. And of course, in Germany, I'm really trying to get people to do their clubs, having a scoreboard here at the dojo. That's okay, Craig. Just get off your hobby horse and check out a game of Holly's. Here we go. So Holly's got a game going on here, 30-0. And let's see, we got a time graph. We do. And they got down to 10. Now I'm not. How come I do not see time graph? Okay, I look. ChessDojo. There it is. Bang. So this is the time graph from Holly, and one of the things that I'm very pumped up about that we're gonna roll out. It's not gonna quite coincide with 4.0, but we're gonna have a ChessDojo time usage rating. I like to call it the clock time rating. And really it came from so many graduate shows where people weren't using their time. And I would see like one game of theirs and see if they were using their time correctly. Here, I feel, especially since we only went to move 16, both players played pretty well in terms of their clock. But what this is going to tell me is, instead of just looking at one and then chastising somebody for moving too slow, what we can do is I have all of the games analyzed in terms of their clock rating, and then I can yell at them in a more appropriate way, not just based on one game. Okay, so let's go back to game review. Booms. Oh, everything, all my windows got popped here. I don't know why. But let's go here, bang. I say, okay. And then I go bang. And then I say, okay. Beautiful. All right. This is Holly aus Deutschland. The little click you hear in the background is whenever time one of Coach's person's moves. Fine. Everybody's doing reasonably well. And I'm not a huge fan of H3 because I don't want you to not develop, but I understand the fear of bishop G4. I do understand that. Rook E8, and now bishop E3. Okay. Now, I just want to say this is a very good analysis. And one thing we should say about this that's kind of fun is I don't think black gets to play G5 anymore, because I'm guessing that's too powerful. But that's an interesting question, though. Your move bishop E3, not bad. Okay. A3. Now that one I don't like. Okay. Let's read what you write. I had wanted to get rid of the knight, but I had incorrectly calculated that I would come out with a full piece less if I started to trade on D4. So I assume for now I'm safe enough with the threat of taking my knight. Okay, so in general, I don't want you to lose time. We're going to see a lot of people losing time, so you're not alone. And I think the way to proceed in this position to not lose time would be to take this coconut. Let's say they recapture, and then knight e2. And even though we're removing the knight twice, because we're creating a threat that I don't even know if they can defend, we are doing fine, especially in terms of time. I like that you spent 3 minutes there, though. Even though I don't like the move, I like that you spent the time there. A5, you can still take on d4. Queen d2. This is poor because now they could take on f3 and then take on h3. I like, though, you thought, and even though you missed the knight takes f3, you are thinking, and you're gonna get better just by thinking like this. h6, knight d5. Both players aren't seeing it, and now you say black is winning, probably technically, but at this level it's not over. fc1, c6, snip. F4, check, and then we got mated. Okay, so I want to say for a 300 level game, or under 300 level game, pretty good. And this is how things are decided. Notice it took them forever to play knight takes f3, but eventually they found it. Okay, yeah. Well done. I'm going to mark that review. Welcome to the dojo, Holly. And we will go back to grad show business. And this is Faster TL, also graduating into the 300 to 400 cohort. We got 3 people graduating this way. Let's see, we got some clubs. Not yet. Games. Not yet. So Faster TL actually joined in end of last year, but has not really done anything. They did graduate, though. So congratulations on that, Faster. It's time to really join the dojo, though. Get some work done. Give us some games. All right. Bueno. Here we go. Next up, FRP. Boom. We'll give FRP a follow here. And graduated. Makes sense. Also not too much, nothing really done on the scoreboard. 50 plus, I'm there with you, buddy. And nothing. So FRP joined, he joined just 2 days ago. So what we want from you, FRP, is some games and some work. But welcome to the dojo. Bang. Now we have Kitora. Hello. I am a new adult chess player who wants to start late in life and dedicate about 20 hours a week to chess until I reach GM. Always open to learning new points of view, but zealous in my resolve to keep pushing forward. Okay, well, this is going to be a very interesting person to watch. Now, the first thing we want to say about Kitora is that Kitora is already at 734, and maybe, in fact, what happened was she hit the graduate button and then exploded up here. It's pretty. So I'm pumped on Kitora and Kitora's journey here because I committed to myself for 15 hours a week and I don't always hit it. At 20 hours a week, you will, especially at this level where you're at, you will make good progress. Now, I always tell people you should be a little bit more modest than the GM title and yada yada, just because you need to celebrate the victories that you get. So for example, you've already graduated a number of times here. You know, you're already in the 700 to 800 cohort. And I would say a great goal that you should celebrate is if you reach 1,000, for example. But also just reaching the next cohort is a big deal. So here we got a tactics rating of 714. That corresponds pretty closely to your rating. And for your zealous quest, you definitely are going to need to get this focus on getting this bad boy up. Right? You're going to have to do other things too, but especially getting that bad boy up is something you're going to need. Okay, so you're also going to want to hit the graduate button again. Let's see if we got some clubs. Nothing. No games. Well, Kitora, we know it. The clubs just help me understand maybe where you're from. Just kind of fun for me to know. But also, you might find some people around you. And of course, the heart of the dojo is going over your games. Thank you, Nose. All right, so let's go back. And now we have Squirrel Sack, I feel like Squirrel Sack is graduating every week. So Squirrel Sack and Kitora are both just slamming it here. 653, look at that beautiful progress here. And but not a lot of work being logged over here. Let's see. So I'm a little confused. I remember Squirrel Sack. It's been confusing me. Aus Deutschland, and then we got some games. Nothing Squirrel Sack. So Squirrel Sack, buddy, Yo, buddy. We got to get you going, buddy. Come on now. Come on now, Squirrel Sack. You got to, I mean, you're doing well. We can't argue with that rating graph, first of all, Squirrel Sack. I can't say too much. But for the long-term progress that we're hoping from you, we're going to need a little bit more here on this scoreboard. All right. Boom. I haven't had a chance to check out the Morphe study yet. No. My God. Let me just tell you, people, this dojo, we are doing so much. The stress level. The stress level's high. Yeah. Stress level's high. We did take out that Morphe book, though, because it was people. There was enough. Some people really liked it, but there was enough people who didn't like it. Now, I don't know about that, Faugra. In my experience of these streams, like, yeah, maybe there's some people without games, but then, you know, Adam's going to have a game. Let's read what Adam says here. On the advice of the dojo community, I switched from ChessCom to Lichess to better handle blunder games. My classical rating is still provisional, but my rapid rating for blunder games is above the graduation threshold, as is my provisional classical. So I feel confident the graduation has been earned. I'd love for you to analyze my loss against Wizard Knight, who is by far the strongest opponent I've ever played. I think I held my own for a while. Okay, we will. So let's go click on Adam. Yeah, Adam's just like a fellow bro of mine here. And can we just pause for a minute and just look at Adam's epic heat map? Since the beginning of this looks like a New Year's resolution where he is just slaying it over here. Okay, that looks great, dude. And what we got to say, Adam, you graduated again too, buddy. You graduated again too. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, I don't know, something just happened. Something just happened where you just started slaying people. But I get it. You were using this ChessCom, I think, for the blunder games, whereas this one is way up there. I get it. I understand what you're saying in the comments there. So clubs, loads of clubs. Oh my gosh, loads of clubs. Great. And then we're going to get Mr. Wizard here somewhere. There, Wizard Knight. There he is. So here we go. Let's first get a look at the time usage. And as we can see, you are playing, I don't know, probably not a dojo, or I hope not, somebody who is very high rated, but is basically playing a 5-minute game. One of the first things we will say about you is, even though it looks like you used a lot more time than your opponent, you actually only played a 10-minute game. And there you have, like, you know, almost 40 moves. So again, we're going to get this clock time rating thing going to come out. I think it's going to be real helpful in allowing people to see where they stand in terms of how they use time. Okay, so I just want to say it again. One of your main quests here is going to be to move slower. All right, let's go game review. And this is a lot of moves unannotated. I'm not sure why. To me, there's a lot to be said in all of these moves. Lots to be said. Okay. Black is fine. Fine. Poor. First move I had to think about. Well, there's the problem, Adam. No, there's all kinds of things here to think about, buddy. There's all kinds of things to think about. Let me say something about Bishop F4. One of the ideas of this move is so that you might get away with playing E3 and wait on C4, because C4 is not really a developing move, right? So C4, I don't know, maybe something to think about. Taking, definitely not great. Why? You're releasing the tension. C6, now your knight's dominated. Okay, E3. Bishop G3, losing a tempo. Okay. And this is your first crime. So you say that Bishop D3 didn't feel aggressive enough, but you're in no position to be aggressive here. It's time for you to develop a coconut is what it's time for, right? And Bishop D3 develops a coconut. Okay, so knight E5, and notice what you're saying. The first move I had to think about, you thought about it for 21 seconds, Bows. So just think about the improvement that can be had. And notice, I'm going to yell at you when you don't, move a develop piece twice. So it's very importante not to do it. So Queen C7, reasonable. I think knight E5 has to be fine too. Snip and snop. Okay. Queen F3, a little weird. And now your opponent wants to do a dirty trick. So here's an example of a move it's aiming for a dirty trick. He does it in 45 seconds, but black hasn't thought it out either. I guarantee that he did this move to play Bishop G4 and trap your queen and did not see that the knight was hanging. Ooh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Okay, so I just want to stress, when you play online against the randos, they're going to play fast and they're not going to be thinking strategically. They're going to be just playing for the pure cheap tricks. You come up with Bishop D3 as a move. Interesting. I think you could just castle too, or even Bishop E2. There's nothing wrong with anything. All right, so 1 minute played for this G4, and I think you just missed knight G4. And now you're losing your mind with E4. Why is this poor? Because you're not developing. This Bishop E4 seems unnecessary. He should probably castle long. Poor move, King D8. Now notice this decision that black takes, 38 seconds. He's got plenty of time. Just castle Bows, and then you can, all of the lines are open. All of the kingdom's gonna fly down here. Look at this. White isn't developed. Time for white to die. All right, poor move. Now okay. Now we need to do something nice. Rook H7, poor move. And then you missed Rook E8. Okay, and now you're toast. Okay, one of the things I really want to stress is that this game was lost for the typical reasons that they are lost at this level. Not taking enough time, moving coconuts twice, and then missing a basic tactic like this. The important thing for you to see too is before you even get to make a tactical mistake with Rook H7, your game is in big trouble, right? Okay. Well, well done. I mean, I like when I say well done, I mean your annotations, right? And I think it's clear what you need to do. And anyone watching the show, we're going to say most of you guys in the under 1,000 have the same problem here as Adam does. Okay, problems. Next up, we have I Am Jacob. I Am Jacob. Let's go back. Grad show. Give I Am Jacob a follow. Loads of tactics. Started very recently. 673. Again, my friends, not quite a graduation. You should wait. Wait until you actually get there. All right. So lots of tactics being done. Let's go give a quick look to Kostya's game. Kostya is black. When we left him, his position was amazing. His position is still amazing. He's got this terrible bishop to work against, weak pawns to work against. We're going to call this strategically winning. Okay, let's go back. This is I Am Jacob. Let's see clubs. No, join a club, Jacob, and tell us Tell us something. No games. This is a little bit, it's always more pardonable when somebody just joins. But we know, Jacob, that it's time for you to get some, you're doing the work, by the way. I'm not going to say you're not doing the work, but to get some games in for your next graduation. Okay, let's keep going here with Michael Deneen. Pop. Adult beginner, eager learner, he says. And I've already followed him, which means he's graduated before. His tactics rating's in the dumps, but maybe he hasn't just done too much with that. He looks like he's done, looks like he kind of fell off the wagon there. He was doing a lot of work early in the year, and then something happened March and April. Clubs. Oh, from Canada. Oh, the Canada people are so pissed off at us now. It's kind of like if you were in Canada, dude, and Trump is saying a bunch of dumb stuff, like we've already dealt with it for 4 years before. So it's like now you guys, and he starts talking smack about Canada, and it's like you're waking up to the fact that this guy's going to say some stupid shit, man. It's like you get mad at us, and it's like, bro, this has been our reality for a while. Give it a break, buddy. Give us some forgiveness. Give us a little forgiveness. You don't have to be mad at us, dude. It's just some dude spouting some crazy shit. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we got some games. It looks like maybe we might not have anything new. No, we don't got anything. Michael, first of all, congratulations on the graduation. But you've fallen off the wagon, my friend, and you haven't given us a game yet. So, here we go. Bang. Next up, we have Kaysen. Kaysen doesn't tell us anything. We don't have, sometimes I get a lot of novels. But here we got at least a description from Kaysen. Elementary music teacher. Chess player, working hard to improve my chess this summer, and my goal is to achieve a 1200 rating by the end of this year. Well, that's pretty good. Now, that's a goal I think is eminently achievable. And when he says that, I assume he's meeting the ChessCom rating over here, which is definitely something he could do. On track to do it, too. That's a beautiful rating graph. Okay, so let's look at what's going on. Nebraska. Oh, we got 3 people in Nebraska. Nebraska is one of the states I've never played a chess tournament in. Someday I will, I guess. All right, we got some games here. Well, look at this. Kaysen's doing the work. This is great to see. It also looks like these could be some OTB games. Now, Kaysen, one just thing I want to note here. Let's see, actually, if I go dojo points. So he is logging it in terms of dojo points, but I can see that obviously you're not logging the hours. It would help for you to do so. And it would help me, too, to see it. All right. So I think, you're doing things, but you're not necessarily logging it. Okay, so let's take a look. First, we got a clock usage. We do. Time control says unknown. And I'm going to, it's hard to say. He says time control is a 45 with a 5-second delay. I forgot to notate time marks during the game. Sorry, Jesse. Okay, thank you. But I did end up using almost all of my time. My opponent still had like 20 minutes. Okay, that's good to know. So we were going to go game review. Market is reviewed. F4, obviously a little weird. Fine. Weird. Fine. Weird. Fine. And now D6. Okay. C5. Fine. You're playing good chess. B3. So notice we want to stress that you're going to get a lot of games against people like this who aren't religious about their development. And now you're going to get here a position where you're going to want to think about how to punish your opponent. And you played rook e8. Let's read what you write first. My idea was to add extra support to the e file so I can play e5. But I should have been more careful about him playing d4, potentially taking over the center. Okay. Now, first things first. If you want to play e5, then just do it. Just play it. The next thing to note is knight e4 should be considered, with the pin and win situation. In general, when they fail to develop their coconuts, you will have tactical opportunities, okay? So this goes for really everybody up to 1600, because it's only really up to 1600 that they actually start developing their coconuts. Whenever they don't develop their coconuts, that's when we can generally get them. Okay, so rook e8 and maybe d4, sure. Good move. Snip. I don't know about snipping because now he opened up your file, but it wasn't an easy position for white either. e4. Okay. So white decides to close the game down, and you play knight d4. And right away starts losing more time with a3. Good move. Okay. See, you're playing good moves. When they don't develop, we develop, and we say thank you. We try to say thank you anyway. We don't want to be, unthankful for the opportunities they give us. Good. Now he's in trouble. How did it happen to him? Because he didn't develop his coconuts. Okay, now, of course, here would be a great moment if we actually had the times. Here you played rook e4. The point being that if knight e4, you were concerned with knight c7. So I think this is correct. I want to really focus too, just for a second, beyond just the thousands of pawns we're taking, on the fact that this bishop is undeveloped, and that's a real problem for this dude. It's technically developed, but I just want to say it's useless on b2. Reasonable move, rook e7, rook e1. And you write, opponents should focus on getting his b2 bishop active, possibly d3 bishop c1. Okay, I do want to say I have feelings of respect for rook e1 because you are behind in development a little bit here. Now you take the thing. My move here would definitely be bishop e6 because I don't want to trade that rook because this rook is nicely defending this pawn and I need to get my bishop out. A little frisky. Now you're inviting the knight in. Okay. And now knight c8, rook c8, and your opponent wisely plays rook b1. And I say wisely, it's a very sad move, honestly, but at least he didn't play bishop b7, losing to rook b8. Good move. Exclam. Let's go hurt this. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's not an exclam. Maybe it's not an exclam. He does still get to play bishop b7. Okay, let's think about it for a moment, Tito. So what does this mean? It means, well, yeah, on b6, he's still playing bishop b7. Very hard to protect that coconut, actually. I'm just trying to do a little bit of magic here for you. Okay, not easy. So good move. Good move. Now he's pinned. Knight e4, good move. Now I think white needs to play something very accurate right now. That wasn't it. And I think he's in big trouble. So this was beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at this. Why is this happening to him again? Let me just say it again and again. It's because he didn't develop. Poor guy. Poor guy. Poor guy. Oh, beautiful play. Beautiful play. Yeah. So, well done. And one of the things to say is for you in the next several cohorts, you're going to have people playing moves where they don't develop and they leave the stuff will be available. And that's kind of how this game went down, right? So it's a thank you very much kind of situation. Let's check quickly on Kostya. His position continues to be very strong. We're going to call it positionally winning. Still has to give him the old 1-2, but definitely a great position. B6, I always want to say I have some, hold on, you go back to the grad show view, buddy. I have some misgivings about B6 because at some point, White at least has a dream now of playing C3, Bishop D3, and Bishop C2. That will take forever, and I'm sure Kostya can find something to do about that. But at least now White has a dream. Okay. So, here we go. This is the big Eldrazi, who has graduated numerous times. And Big says, well, it took far longer than the rest of his graduations, but definitely also I took more rests and wasn't able to dedicate as much time to study, so mainly played games. I felt like all the knowledge I've been practicing even before joining the dojo started crystallizing, and now I'm able to access it between games without too much effort. So it was kind of an epiphany, since before I felt like I really studied those concepts, but I just wasn't able to access it mid-game, or I felt overwhelmed.
Now, let's focus on 1,000.
Sure, let's focus on 1,000, absolutely. Boom. Looks a little bit like Levy from a distance, right? Okay. He's got a big goal. Again, I encourage you to have a more modest goal. The goal of reaching 1,000 is a pretty cool goal. Notice what happened to the poor guy. He reached 900 and then he just had a little minor dip. But in general, a beautiful curve he's got going up. Okay, pretty good heat map too. Clubs from Spain, great. Oh, and we want to hit games. We got loads of games. Here, definitely we want to do a 30-30 game. Notice as we go up the cohorts, we're getting longer games. Oh, and here's a great example of some poor time usage. So, we're coming up with this rating system of how to rate time usage. And basically, when someone ends up with more time, that's going to be the default for getting a rating of around 0. Will it be 0 entirely? Maybe it'll be about a rating of 10 or something like that. But this is why we created it, so that we can see, like, oh yeah, black, very poor in terms of the use of the clock. Now, white also, notice what happened, was thinking pretty well until move 14, and then was unable to think. Right? And I just want to stress, I do this every graduation show. The thinking is a muscle. You get tired, and then you start making impulsive moves, and that will ruin your game. Okay, so let's go game review. First game of round robin tournament, playing on a time control far slower than what I usually play. Okay, I get it. Good moves. Poor move, bishop b5. This is a terrible move because you have one problem piece, the bishop on c8. His bishop is a good piece, we'd call it. And so at a minimum, you could play d7, and you got all kinds of nasty tension with this thing. So the bishop doesn't belong there. Why is it poor? Because you're not developing your people that well. Okay. Good move, queen b6. Knight f5. Okay. Snip. So not a great move. I understand why he did it, but not a great move. And that's a nice move. Now you got all these beautiful center pawns. And one of the reasons the French is so successful at the lower levels, it's a good opening anyway, but it's successful because these people will allow their center to get shattered. And that's definitely what happened here. White's going to lose the center. Check, very nice move. C3, CD4, good move. Knight D4, Knight D4, Queen D4, C5, you're playing great. Queen D1, and now you have a choice between Bishop D7 and Bishop A6, both are genius. Bishop D7, fine. B3, snip, snap, snoop. Yeah, look at this. So this is a model French game for how we waste these people when they, let their center collapse and play moves like Bishop B5. Check to the miserable king, very good. And now D4, winning. F4, terrible. Queen takes E3. Now you can imagine, if White had thought a little bit, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Here I would definitely encourage you to just trade queens. I just make it easy on yourself. Good, Bishop D6. Now notice, you're giving me a little bit of a heart attack. You're still winning, of course. Now I want, from a finishing him off kind of point of view, I want Queen E3. Here, you did it. Great. You're doing great. Now, something I want to stress is, I yelled at you a little bit for using too much time. Let's go back. Or not enough time, excuse me. And what we need to say is, yes, it would have been nice for you to use some time, but I get it. You felt confident that you were crushing this fool, right? Because you were up 1,000 pieces in pawns. But it could have been cleaner. I didn't like that Queen A4 stuff, for example. I just don't even, we're up a clean piece for nothing. I don't want any counterplay. Nothing. All right, good. So we'll go back to the grad show. And boom, boom. Let's check in on Kostya. Kostya's having a little difficulty finishing this dude off. Okay. So next up we have Mozart. And Mozart says, I'm Mark, mid-50s, got a family, played chess as a kid, came back to it recently and got hooked, joined a club and started playing 2 years ago OTB in the Bedfordshire League and occasional tournaments in around London. Beautiful. I played that was my first experience with, team chess, where I guess I had some team chess in high school. We had a team and stuff, but like the league chess, and I played on a team called Cowley. It was in Oxford for a year, ages ago. This was 1992, but that was good times, dude. That was a really good time. I got I was poor, but with that club, we traveled around the country, got to see some things. Beautiful time. So I just want to say, it's great that you're playing in the league. It's just not just for your chess, but just in general. Beautiful thing. Okay, so there's the ECF. He's got a beautiful tactics rating. And let's see, clubs. UK Dojo. If you could, I don't know where in Bedfordshire you are, or maybe you can, my personal ask would be if you could get your club to get a dojo scoreboard, and we'll give you guys a discount and everything like that. Boom, get in there. Get in there. All right, doing a lot of tactics. The scoreboard looks great. We're going to give them a follow. Looks great, Mark. Okay, so games, and these are some OTB games. As we said, when we start getting higher, we're going to get some OTB, and this is how it's done. This is a Bedfordshire League. Kostya, stop moving so fast. I'm going to turn off the little sound thing here, so it doesn't go click, click all the time. Kostya's position is still positionally winning, but he has stranded his knight on A4. And, yeah, it might not be so easy for Mr. Bambisi. Yeah, now he's playing a dude who's rated 1690, but you you're playing at some chess camp. Now you never know who it is you're gonna face. It might be some real players, as they say. Okay. So this is the Bedfordshire League. We're gonna look at the times. Oh, we got times. Again, I want to stress you can put your times in here. And that looks pretty good. What we can definitely say is that people arguably were moving too fast over here. But the general slope, and this is what we see as we go up the rating ladder. We're going to see better usage of time. In general, we also see better usage of time at OTB than online, because in online people are more distracted. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go game review. So far so good. Fine. Good. Okay. And now rook e8. I would have preferred f5 immediately, but I get it. And the reason is the move knight g5 makes me a little nervous here. That's what makes me nervous. So, oh, no, excuse me. My mind's eye had a bishop on c1 guarding the knight, but there is no knight g5, Jesse. So he plays e5. Okay. Now that pawn is weak, and you have the two bishops. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. And now you need a good move. Let's see if you find it. Bishop e6. I am getting a little nervous. This should be okay, though. Boom, boom. Okay. And that's the move that made me a little nervous. So now white is better. So what we want to do here is we want to go back a little bit. This is a key position for us to analyze. And what we should say is you are in general doing great, but you have a couple interesting problems. The biggest one being if you trade the queens and this knight is coming here, and it's unpleasant for a peasant. You also have to deal, when you trade queens, with the knight coming to either of these squares and messing with your c7 pawn. Now, we'd like to play a move like c6, and maybe we will, but it's important to see that on this we have the grief of a potential knight g5, which might be unpleasant for a peasant. It's not over yet or anything, but just a little bit unpleasant. So it's kind of a hard situation. And one thing maybe we should have considered is the move c6 first. And the point of this move is just to say, hey, buddy, I am going to kill your knight. A lot of people be yelling at me, Kraai, you told me to develop my pieces and now you're doing this. But c6 really undevelops the knight. Notice how we're getting all of the knight's squares. All right. So de5, de5. Now we're like strategically busted, honestly, because that rook is so strong and our knight is worse than the knight on a6. c6, this is not friendly. Boom. We are the critter. Well, hold on. We actually have a little moment here. You played knight c5. Fine. b4 and now knight d7. Okay, I was thinking bishop e5 was also a thought. So amazingly, hold on. c6, knight d6, it has to be winning for white, but it's actually not that simple. Oh, wow, very interesting. You like knight c5 better. And, you know, it's such an interesting position. Okay, so I want to take it back. I get to do take back sometimes too. I concluded just optically this was winning for white, but it's actually far more complicated than I had originally thought. Okay. Boom, boom. It's a sad move for white to play, but this should be winning, where it's winning just because the rook is just eating all the coconuts. Here, it looks so terrible. He might have played. He played knight d6 in 4 minutes. So you guys are thinking. But the problem is the knight is insecure. And knight c5 is stronger, as he wrote. But the knight is insecure on d6. So any point you can do bishop e5 here, you're doing great. And knight d7 also. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get counterplay. Uh-oh. Is it true? Maybe not true. So we needed to play bishop e5 here. Whack. Muy importante. Muy importante. Okay. All right, so this is important. You lost a pawn. Now white's winning again, I think. Okay. Rook e3, good. h6, okay. White needs some good moves here. c3. Do I understand c3? I don't think I do. Then you played rook d5. Well, I guess that was his intention there. And now knight e4, it's important to see you're just hanging all your stuff. So, in this position, let's just talk basics. You're doing fine. You got several moves to play here. A very simple one would just be king f7, getting ready for this knight d4 thing, and activating your king. 2 minutes spent. Knight d4, knight e4, you thought for a long time. It's weird though, right? Because that's a big tasty pawn that white just got. Rook b8 doesn't threaten anything. And now knight f8 seems soft to me. There's no reason to take that thing. No reason to play b3 either. Knight on c4 is protecting it. Knight d6, okay. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's a blunder. Good move, rook e5. Knight c5, also a good move. Okay, c4. Now, okay, let us revisit this, because one thing I really want to stress for chess improvement, let's go back to this. When I say revisit, I mean the time graph. Here we're at move 31, and here you can see a very common thing that happens in the lower cohorts, and that is when we get to an endgame, people stop thinking. Let's just say we have ourselves a very spicy rook endgame here, where it's going to take, white is better because they're up a pawn, but it's going to take a lot of technical skill for white to deliver on this. And the skill for black will be either to create some kind of fortress or to get some kind of counterplay, right? And here, both players, you can, I'll go back here. Well, you can see it here in the graph. They're just not going to think for the next several moves. Okay, so a5, rook e4. Not an obvious move because he's abandoning the second rank. g5, okay. Okay. Rook e5, I don't know, maybe. Snip snap. And now check to the miserable king happens. a4 would have been the other move to think about there. Because now on rook d2, he has rook e2. I have a feeling you missed it, and then this is a gross blunder. We're going to call that a gross blunder, okay? Because what you should intuitively feel is that you're down a pawn in a king endgame. It's gone. Game is over. And here, this one's definitely over. So, improvement is about learning to take your time. You had 18 minutes left when you did this. Rook takes e2 crime. And there's no annotations. By the way, it's very common at the dojo is that we see players stop analyzing. They stop analyzing. All right, so b5 looks reasonable. B6, a little bit flirty here, but winning still. B7, I like king e4 better. Okay, here it comes. And I mean, we're just gone, right? We're just gone. Okay. He says king g5, now I have a chance. Oh my gosh, is it true though? Is it true? G4? Okay, again, this is where both players are moving ultra fast. And it's actually a good momentito to think. So h4 and king g5 are also definitely on the table. King b3 is natural, but we should be talking about king d5 too. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. And again, you guys, this is a very complicated position. And you guys are just speed demoning it. Speed demoning it. Oh, so complicated position. I can't even. Oh, and then, oh my gosh. Okay. So, as I said before, whoo, yeah, too fast. Too fast. All right. So that was Mark. This is Kostia's position. He's going to be really pissed if he doesn't win this. I think it's fair to say that this is basically very difficult now to win. Oh, excuse me. Let me fix it. Very difficult to win now for Kosti. Big disappointment not to beat a 1690, I'll tell you. Especially from the position he had, because he was totally slaying out of the opening, I felt. Let's say, yeah, this just doing great. The knight on c6 is dominated. Very typical, everything working for black kind of situation. Bad endgame, bishop f8's coming, you know, very typical. And black can do all kinds of things here. Bishop b4 is just one of them. So this is a strategic, well, we're not going to yell at Kostia too much, but we're going to say, of course it's sad not to win the strategically won position against the 1690. Oh, maybe he still has a chance, by the way. It's not over yet. He could still slime him in some way. Okay, so here we go. This is Chop. And Chop says, in the 1000 to 1100, I enjoyed the book Logical Chess and Annotating Games. I'm not sure my annotations are that good, but they help me a lot to understand how I think during the games. Absolutely. Incredibly happy to move to the next level, start new materials, and keep having the feeling that my understanding for the game is growing. Thank you, Dojo. Well, I'll tell you, I just want to say we're working hard, buddy. We're working hard. We're going to release Dojo 4.0 tomorrow. I have my own little list of tasks for today that I'm not even done with. And so when somebody enjoys the program, it's amazing. It's amazing. Here's Chop. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Let's give Chop a follow. As you can see, Chop is working very hard. Beautiful heat map. And really, you can see from the beginning of this year, well, actually, let's just do a simple correlation. The heat map started really going on for Chop at the beginning of January, right? And then as we see at the beginning of January, what happened? Boom. Work equals progress, my friends. Work equals progress. Welcome to the dojo, Chop. Oh, it's so nice, right? It's so nice to see it happen. It's just a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's see some clubs that Chop is in. He's in European Dojo Queen. Actually, maybe it's, I always say I defaulted to the he. I apologize. Chop Shi is in Berlin. More Berlin. So actually, we had two of the players from the Berlin Dojo today in the show. So that's pretty cool. All right. So I just want to guess, Chop, that you might be on a league in Germany, in Berlin. Oh, man, if you could put if you could put a club, in the dojo, bring your club into the dojo, make its own special club. Amazing. That would be a big thing for me. Okay, so Choo Choo is playing Grand Trier. We definitely want to look at that one because Grand Trier is also in the dojo. This might be a round robin game, so we're going to get a dojo fight here. All right, first we're going to look at the times. Just take a quick look. And our protagonist is playing white, and it looks like we have a familiar pattern where they stopped thinking religiously around move 20. And usually it's because of exhaustion that this happens. This thinking obviously looks great. Okay. Time management. We were kind of equal on the clock most of the game until approaching the end game where I got a couple of minutes extra time. I tried actively to avoid instant moves. Great. Great. All right. And I like what she says here. Okay to do engine analysis, it's fine, but definitely first to do what she's calling a manual analysis with your own eyes first. Okay. Oh, Kraai, you need to show her things. Good thing we didn't move on to the game. I've done it before. People yelled at me. Kraai, what are you doing? All right, here we go. French, B3, a little weird. Now, okay, not going to say anything. Not going to say anything. All right, knight e7, a weird move. So, why didn't I yell, actually, at b3? Because at least with b3, you are trying to get the bishop out, right? So it's not a full loss of tempo. Knight e7, however, is definitely poor Grand Trier because it's not developing your stuff, right? It's just not developing your stuff. All right, knight c3, good move. c5, okay. ed5, poor move. Okay, so what's the problem with ed5? Two things. Black has two issues of congestion in this position. The knight needs to move, and this pawn needs to move. People need to get fixed. So when you take on d5, you're solving both of those problems for black. Right? What would be a better move? Well, developing one of your coconuts. That would be a better move. All right, so ed5 and knight takes. Okay, knight f3. Poor move, f6. And you write, I don't get this move. It weakens the king, and it doesn't look like is achieving anything. Now, one of the things I think is fair to say is your opponent is completely traumatized by your bishop on b2. They think this thing is just going to whack them. And there's a great expression where we say sometimes the threat is greater than the execution. And that's definitely the case here. So you're just gaining a lot of time. And this move, very natural. Of course we want to do it. We want to look into those weak squares. Knight c3, bishop c3, a6. Not good. Not developing Grand Trier. Queen e2. Fine. Developing. e5. Okay. 757 played on this move in terms of time spent. Okay. And that is this amazing d4. And whether it's right or wrong, we definitely want to say that it's the right spirit of a move to play at this point, because you want to open the position before black can get anything out. Now, you looked at knight e5, fe5, queen h5, and I don't know what the computer says here, of course, but my instinct would be, am I winning after snippos, crippos, and tippos with this just simple little problemito for black? It looks rough. Let's just say that, it looks rough. I don't know. It looks winning. It's hard to imagine they're going to survive this one, right? Okay. So d4, pop, knight takes. Okay, good. Bishop c5 and castles. I really no. So this one really, again, whether it's right or wrong, it's high praise because you are really focusing on development, and it's such a big win when your opponent isn't developing. So I'm really happy with the developing moves that you're playing here. Castles, brilliant. And you thought for 2.5 minutes on it. Queen e7, and then this one I don't like, knight f3. Now, I don't even have a better move yet. Maybe I might not come up with a better move either. But what I don't like about that move, actually, I'm not even sure I have a better move. So I don't know if I get to criticize it. It's a sad move, though, because the knight is going to be dominated by this pawn on f3. So let's pause for a second. Maybe we're not going to find anything. I think we can find something. I think you should continue in the spirit of what you've been doing with rook e1. And the point is very simple, is that whenever they take, we're just going to say, all right, we'll move this queen somewhere. I don't know where you want to put it, there maybe, right? And we are going to play to win this bad boy. Yeah, simple chess, right? Here's a nice one. Checkmate. Sometimes I would want to actually calculate that because I don't want black to be able to sack a bunch of pieces for the queen, but that's not available to him. So not bad, knight f3. But I just want to share my thought process on this. I really enjoyed the development lead that you have going in this position. And since knight f3 doesn't really threaten anything, it's going to give black a chance, just a moment of breath to maybe get some of their pieces out, right? And I don't want that. I don't want them to get their pieces out. And rook he1 will create threats eventually with a move like f4. Okay. So you write queen h5, also a good move. Okay, so knight f3, b5. Notice, Grand Trier is having a real trouble developing his coconuts. Rook a7, rook he1. Good move, simple and strong. Bishop e6. And now Stockfish tells you knight e5. One of the things I want you to see about this move, by the way, is knight e5 should be the first thing to come to mind. Okay, like some computer moves, I'm not going to see it all. I'm not. I just can't do it. But knight e5, the reason we should really be seeing it is because our knight. Remember, we were talking about how the knight was dominated by this pawn. So in a lot of ways, it's our worst piece. So if we can sack that dude to open things up, it should just come to our mind's eye as something we want to do, right? Yeah, so knight e5. And notice the computer variation is a little bit weird and misleading because castles, well, that's not what we're worried about, right? And on fe5, it's talking about queen h5. That's probably good too, but you know, that's the simple move to do. And we're winning all of his coconuts. Grand Trier, bud, you gotta be developing your stuff, buddy. Get that stuff developed, Grand Trier. All right, knight h4. Queen h5, no good. And now bishop f7, and all of a sudden we're lost. Oh, man. Yeah. All right, queen f5. Okay, f5. Oh, that's not great. Check to the miserable king. Oh, my God, Grand Trier. Oh, buddy. So h5, Grand Trier thought for 2.5 minutes on it. And now all of a sudden, the game turns back around. Whew. Okay. Good moves. I like all these moves. I'm not sure about knight h4. It's okay. We're not going to complain too much. Check to the miserable king. Very simple and strong. Okay, so Grand Trier is blundering stuff. 21 seconds. He's moving too fast. Again, I want to say the main thing to notice here on the time graph, my friends, people they spent a lot of energy and then they had nothing left in the tank, right? Yeah, big problem. And that's how the game was actually decided. All right. So, this is all bad news. Now it's a mop-up. And Grand Trier, bud. Oh. Well, hold on. Yeah, King F1 is a blunder. We needed to play like 93. Yeah, we're blundering things. And that King F1 played with 6 seconds. It's about the time. It's about time. Now, of course, you're winning this position. It doesn't really matter. But we just, in general, don't want to be hanging our stuff. Good. Okay. So, Choo-Choo, congratulations. Good notes. And I'm thinking you're going to play a lot of people who don't develop their pieces. And I feel like you have a very good start in terms of thinking about how to punish them. Like the move D4. Again, whether it's the correct move according to the engine or not, it is the right spirit of the move that you want to do. Okay, well done. We'll mark this as reviewed. And we'll continue with the grad show. Sweat gland. Oh, that's a little humid for me. All right, let's check out sweat gland. I want to give a big shout out to anyone that has helped me to reach this milestone. Great. First and foremost, I want to thank John Frostad, who has been my main training partner and has helped me spar out positions as well as teaching me since I started. Some other shout outs for Cam Leslie. I suffered from senior moments and Cross Online specifically for being the plus that helped me review multiple games. I also want to shout out everyone in Heat Map Heroes, as that group has given me a ton of motivation. I'm in that group too. Great. I even have a surprise for the senseis to check out my heat map. You will find what I call a rook of tactics wearing a belt of games. Okay, we're going to take a look. I would like you to review my most recent game if possible. Also, big shout out to Jack S. That might be Jack's Gen Line. I have been helping with beta testing the new version of the dojo, and he is so efficient at making updates when a bug or fix was found. I'll likely have another graduation soon, depending on how my USCF turns out after the tournament I'm in. Great! Yeah, me and Jack and the whole crew working real hard for Dojo 4.0. Oh, we got some cool new updates. Okay, so here we go. All right, quickly, we're going to check in on Kostya. When we last left him, he was not winning a position against a much lower rated player. Let's go take a look. Wait, we got to go to the very end. Yeah, so white should hold this way. Black still has, let's call it cheapo potential. He still's got his cheapo potential. Okay, so this is sweat gland. Eastern Washington, and we're going to look, let's just click out this heat map here. I'll even go in the special heat map tab. And what we have is, here's the, we got to find the belt. Hold on, let's just see here. You will find a rook of tactics wearing a belt of games. Okay, I think I see it. So here we got the rook of tactics. This is this green one over here. And the belt of games. That's pretty nice, dude. It's the rook of tactics and the belt of games. Okay, great. One thing this is the first time I've actually seen this happen. And when I say this, I mean somebody either seeing an artistic pattern or maybe even striving after that a pattern. It reminds me of there's this app called Strava, the bicycle people really like, the running people too. And, it'll map your run if you have a watch or something. And a lot of these people will, create amazing drawings from a map in their town. Anyways, that's the first time I've seen someone, talking about a drawing from the app that we've got here, the heat map. Okay, so he said, we want to do most recent game, he said. All right, first we got clubs, definitely is in heat map heroes. 83 members, great. Also a lifting heavy thing. I'm in a lot of these clubs. Okay, here we go. I think this is going to be James B. This is an OTB game. Let's check it out. So we're going to take a look. We do have a time graph. And as we can see, even though this is a OTB game, Black is playing this much too fast. Yeah. Okay. So, your time usage, by the way, looks very appropriate. Okay, so that's a great thing. As you get stronger, you will play people who use their time better. All right, so game review. E4. Weird. Good move. Good move. Little funky. Knight D2, I'm okay with. G6, little funky. Beautiful. Now you're just playing good chess here. Great. C4. And you kind of give this a funky move, Mark, and you thought for 9 minutes on this move. Now, in general, one thing I want to stress is you never want to spend that much time on what we're going to call an intuitive move. By intuitive, I mean, you're just making a plan. So here we could play A4 to get the rook going, Queen E2. You could play C3 to blunt the bishop. You could play your move, C4. But all those moves are intuitive moves. So we don't want to spend 9 minutes on it. You will need the time later to do calculation. D7, E5. Okay, so now we see your idea, which is to try to prevent the knight from coming to D5. And here you thought for 5 minutes about it. And the problem is your center is now going to collapse. And also you are going to free this bishop up. So unless this move is tactically winning, we don't actually want to play it for strategical reasons. Okay, so here we go. Knight E8, not great. And you talk about DE5, Knight G4. Good. Looks very difficult for white now because you're going to lose some stuff. And notice, he's just active now. Everything's coming out for him. And we've opened the rooms to our house without fixing it. Knight E8. What did this person do? He moved it immediately, buddy. If they had thought, maybe it would have been a different kind of game. E6. And now you like this move. Okay, I can get behind this move. Weird. And now Knight G5. I think that's a good-looking move. Let's see what you write. On EF7, you say, I hadn't noticed that by taking the pawn, I would actually sort of transpose into the position I got. I saw that Knight G5 worked and went for it instead. I mean, to me, it looks just amazing. I don't see anything wrong with Knight G5. Check to the miserable queen. Knight F8. I think a lot of GMs wouldn't take the rook because they would just be like, bows. Bows. I like that knight so much. Okay, but of course, I'm not going to criticize you for taking it. Knight F3, fine. D5, a little weird. C5, okay. B5, weird. Queen E2 now. Knight E5, fine. Thank you very much. Your move is better than mine, by the way. Bishop E2, a little weird. Why not put it on D3? You're doing great. You're doing great. Oh, look at this position. Oh. I hope what you told him was, hey, bud, if you move a little slower, maybe you won't get so badly mated. You know? Maybe you won't get so badly mated. Great. And one of the things that we'll stress is as you progress, you will play probably several people like this who move too fast. And it's just going to be part of us realizing that we're like, oh, I can advance maybe a cohort or two just based on that alone. Very nice game. Great annotations. Really good annotations. I like it a lot. Okay. Boom. Here's Kostya. It looks still fully drawn, but this guy, he might... Nah, I don't think he's going to get a chance. Okay, in any case, maybe he's going to... Kostya's going to be there for a couple hours trying to beat that guy. Okay. So, Kraai, you need to go back to the grad show. This is Frost. Frost doesn't tell us much. 20 E4 best by test. Okay. We got a little bit of work done. Joined earlier this year. Got some tactics. Okay. Clubs. Loads. ChessDojo Repertoire Sparring Enjoyers. Okay. Okay. This is the repertoire that oh, shoot. Oh, here we go. Here's our enjoyers. So this is the repertoire I created. So really cool that there's a club now. I didn't know about the club. Yeah, so they're going to spar some of those positions. Absolutely great. We don't see the entire board when I show Kostya's game. Let's just look at that again. Yeah, you can see the whole board. You don't see the people. Kostya's playing black here. And I don't see much hope here for... If it were black's move, then maybe knight c4 could create a little drama. Yeah. But here it's just hard to see how we can create any drama. He's gonna maneuver the knight around and around. We can say that. He's gonna go around and around with Mr. Knighty Knighty. Yeah, Jake. Kostya's position looked great earlier. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna go back. This is Frost, and maybe we're gonna get some E4 best by test games. This looks like a hard to say what this is actually. Let's give this a little click. And do we have clocks? We do. Here's our time graph, 30:30. And our hero is playing black and definitely moved too fast, right? Definitely moved too fast. Then we don't know what happened over here. Maybe somebody's up a piece, but that's not a good look either. Okay, game review. Okay. Knight d7 is a little weird. In the postmortem, me and my opponent thought this was slow and violates opening principles. Good. You should tell us, though, what you do like to play, and I think e5 is definitely the move. All right, knight d7, e4, e5. Bishop e3, good move. f5, and you're right. I felt this was a mistake, but I didn't know what else to do. So we should say, in general, with the King's Indian, you don't want to play f5 until the center is fixed. So until white has played d5. I hear you though. It's not a pleasant position for you. Here I would definitely take with a pawn. Bishop h3. I don't know about bishop h3. It looks like a blunder. Bam! Good move. Good move. So here we should probably talk about what we think white should do. And DE is the most natural, after which white would have a nice advantage. Okay. Bishop h3. Bang! Good move. Bang! Check to the miserable king. Bishop g5. Good move. Okay. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. Okay. Queen takes. And we have ourselves an interesting position. Judging especially from the position you had earlier, this is very nice. Very nice. Okay. So, good. I don't know about queen takes. Why would you do that? And you write, I thought I could push for a win here. The engine says I'm down almost 2 pawns, but I don't understand why. Yeah, forget the engine for a second. But I think it's actually more interesting to say, are we sure that we want to take with the pawn? Because you take with the pawn, your bishop is not free, and your knight is stuck as well. So I think you're thinking of maybe pawns are people. Pawns aren't people. Your people are over here, and they need to work. So knight e5 is the move I would more like to see. Correct. All right, so de5. Not sure I get it. b6, not sure I get it. I still don't get it. Okay. Knight b4. Why not AB, rook a2? White's done nothing. Okay. Okay. Now we're talking to him a little bit. Better was a3. Right. Now ba happens. Now let's just want to give some general pointers about the position. In general, white really should say to themselves, I need to open lines in the position. White's mostly winning too, by the way, with a beautiful knight here, right? What white does is he putzes around. If I remember right, if I'm looking at that time graph, I wasn't really thinking. He stopped thinking, right? So as we've seen in a lot of games today, right around this move 20 mark, people stop thinking. This is the moment white needs to execute. It's time to end this. Jake says, can you give some strategic pro tips for the white side if black commits to f5 before the center is locked? Well, like I said with that de5, you rip the center open, right? You rip the center open, and it's not like you'll be winning. You'll just be better, okay? That's my pro tip. Rook a d1 doesn't do anything. a5, I don't know. And here, let's like the drama here. It's maybe not a bad move, but we need to be wary of the lines opening. White does nothing. Allows us to do all this stuff. And at the easy move, by the way, here is just AB, because then after AB, we can play rook a2, and our rook is penetrated. All right, this is looking all of a sudden pleasant for a peasant. Boom! So this deserves some annotation. I will tell you, looking at the time graph, that neither player was thinking here. Just way too fast. All right, here we go. Interesting position. And what are we going to say? We're going to say black has a clear advantage. Check to the miserable. Nice. And now this should be a winning position. In general, a pawn up in a knight endgame is like a pawn up in a king and pawn endgame. Here, it's going to be close, though, because the king is close to the... White king is closer to the center. Good. Poor. I wanted to move f6, e7, and then e6, but his knight could go to e4. Right, but you're just losing too much time. So notice, king, if you need to, you can play here, right? Okay, so h6, loss of time. Poor move, f4. Now you can get rid of your isolated pawn. The challenge would be king e4, king d5, and it's going to be a little hard to hold those coconuts together. f4, now knight f5. By the way, are people moving super fast here? Yeah, they're moving super fast. Good move, finally. Takes, great. By the way, if you'd slow down a little more, you would see that, oh, We can go into the knight end, king and pawn endgame, buddy. And is it over? Yes. It's all the way gone. All the way gone. Slow it down. These things will appear to you. Now, is this winning? Yes, but it's just a lot more complicated when the knight's dancing all around on you than if you trade just go with the king and pawn endgame. All right. Totally winning. Great. Knight f2. This was terrible. I got lazy and stopped calculating. Okay. Let's just pause for a second on what he's saying. One of the things we're just going to say obvious is that key to any kind of game analysis is understanding something about ourselves and our weaknesses. And so it's not just that you get better at calculation. It's that you start appreciating basic fundamental failures of yourself, right? And when you recognize those failures, you will begin to see those same failures in your opponents, right? They're going to do the same mistakes, such as impulsive play. All right, I want you got it with c3, good. g5, now it's getting a little spicy. Knight g4, snip, snap, king, c, king. Poor move, king g6. We should go to g7, c2. Oh, king g, terrible move, look. King g7, boom, boom, queen, queen, here, drawn position. King g6. Oh, no. Oh, queen, let me just say it, my friends. Queen c6 played in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Let's return to the time graph. Look at how much time Black had. Look at how much time. I'm telling you, my friends. Well, this is why we're going to get that clock time rating up. We're going to be able to see it, and you are going to be able to see it. Like, oh, dude, I just slowed it down. Of course I'm going to find queen c3. Of course I'm going to see it. All right. So there it is. And we'll continue with this beautiful show. Oh, here's Costa's position. It's still drawn, but white is allowed some stuff here. White's allowed a little something, something. Okay? So it's not over yet, my friends. All right, here we go. Next up, we have a famous dojoer, and it's Kevin Sheehan. Kevin says, I finally stopped playing so much VR chess in November because I purchased a Chess Up 2 board and have been playing on it nonstop. Due to all the ChessCom integration bugs, I only played Chess Up 2 games through Lichess until a few weeks ago. Now that the ChessCom integration is out of beta and working great, I'm playing my Chess Up 2 games through them. I went up 82 points in 14 days. Let's hope it continues. And I graduate soon. Also, this program and its members are as amazing as ever. Thanks for helping to make my improvement fun and successful. I'm up 600 rating points since the beginning. Amazing. Now, something we want to stress is Kevin was like, he turned me on to VR chess. That was like an amazing thing. I haven't even done the VR headset yet. That's just, I assume that's going to be just part of my life in a couple years. Everybody will be walking around with those things. I don't know. But I do want to Google the Chess Up 2 board. 2 board. Let's see here. Chess Up 2 official website. Okay, so here I'll show you guys a picture. This is what this thing looks like. $350. We have a DM Hokie. Our DM Hokie did a review of a lot of these on our site. And the point is, look at that, the little chess.com icon there. is you can play longer games online without being distracted by the online world. So this is something that if you are not able to play OTB tournaments and recognize the truth that is you are probably distracted and not playing as strong, online as you are OTB, this is a path for you to improve. Okay, great. So let's continue. This is Kostya working this dude. Maybe he's going to be able to work him. There's, he's still got hope. All right, here's Kevin, though. Boom. And, right. He's talking about his board. You can see his amazing thing. He is doing non-dojo stuff. Kevin, you got to leave the non-dojo alone, buddy. He's got 11-12 of a rating. See his clubs. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's the one who founded that virtual reality dojo. He will, I assume it'll eventually be a thing. More people will probably join that thing. All right, here we go. This is a game we can check out. And here's some clock time. And let's say the bad news is him and his opponent aren't really thinking. Now, if you're watching this show and you're being like, geez, these people aren't thinking, I want to say you might not be immune to the problem either, okay? Especially when we're online, but just in general, it is hard to think. The body, in a lot of ways, doesn't want you to think. It costs more calories to think. Right? So it's just something we are very aware of at the dojo, and it's not going to be something where you just tell yourself. You can say it's not just like mentally you say, okay, I'm going to think, and that's it. No. You have to first tell yourself that and then realize, oh, this is a skill I have to practice. Okay, so here we go. Game review. All right, fine. Fine. Beautiful. Well, now you're crushing. H6, terrible move. So this is what the position you get when your opponent doesn't think. Queen d7, castles, okay. Check to the miserable king. This is what happens when your opponent doesn't develop. Fine. Oh, God, what a nasty move. Oh. Fine. Fine. Oh, queen f5. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hancho asked, what is a clock time rating? Well, first of all, I was overruled in what we're going to call the rating. They wanted to call it, Jack over here, somebody's like, you got to call it time usage rating. Because Jack, even though he's German, he can't appreciate the smushed words, Got that German last name, Stenglein. Really, not quite two words smushed into one, but, two things smushed. And clock time, it just means, in chess, that we have tempo, and so I didn't want it to confuse it with the tempi that are so important when I talk about time, as a dimension of time in chess. So it will be, it's going to be coming out hopefully soon. It is a measure of how well you use your time. And Jack's in the chat, chatting about how clock time. He was like, clock time rating? That sounds like clock rating. In any case, what else are we getting? I'll tell you, wait till tomorrow. We're getting a lot of things. All right, let's just say the obvious. We do not want to be trading queens in this position. Now all of a sudden black has a chance. B4 terrible, not thinking. Check to the miserable king, intermezzo. Ooh, and now knight b5. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, that's even eviler. Checkmate. Yep. Well, there you go, Kevin. There you go. When your opponents don't develop, you can get them. Even if they trade their queens, still they got to develop their pieces after that. Got to develop your pieces, son. All right. And you got to use your time. All right, here we go. We're back to the front here. Sondra. What does Sondra got to say? Give Sondra a follow. Sondra, well, they joined last year. I don't see a lot of stuff going on here. Clubs, nothing. So they are graduating and stuff. Beautiful rating graph. No games. Makes my life a little easier, but Sondra, we want to see some work and some games. Next up, we have Min. I remember Min. Min graduated before. I just received my official FIDE standard rating of 1694, which corresponds closely with my ChessCom rating of 1691. So please don't mind just making leaps with a few do-nothing graduation clicks. Uh-oh, this might be a do-nothing graduation click. So, 1469, and doesn't list the FIDE, is doing some tactics work. I'm hoping for a Vietnam club, by the way. We got the Asian dojo, I get it. That's cool, but we need a Vietnam club. All right. Games, I have a feeling we don't, well, let's see. Yeah, we don't have it. These are ancient games. So he apologized in advance. We're not going to say anything bad about it. Next up, we got Roy. And Roy writes me a little message, and he says, hello, graduating for the first time after joining up around New Year. I first discovered the dojo from the streams commentating the candidates. Great. I can't go back to engine-led commentaries again. Nice. The dojo streams of the World Championship were also awesome. So far, I've really enjoyed the dojo. The heat map is my favorite feature. Filling in the squares with colors is satisfying. I temporarily retired the past few weeks as it was exam season, but now that it's over, I will be locking in to do 1 hour every day until next semester. The next few months, I will try to focus more on annotating games and endgame middle games, as I haven't done as much work on that. I was mostly focusing on tactics and openings between playing games. Okay, beautiful, Roy. Here is Roy, the #1 goose. I am from Ireland, auditor of University of the Galway Chess Society. Oh, there we go. Hold on. I got to Google that. That sounds just cool. Not a chess club, but a society. He's part of a society. Galway Chess. Oh, it just goes to chess club. I was hoping for the society. I get it. There's also a chess society at the University of Galway. I'm hitting that little map so I can find the University of Galway here. Oh, there's even a Galway Chess Club. It's got its own building, apparently. And I'm learning where Galway is. Oh, yeah, and a cool little bay way down there. Okay, super cool. Super cool. All right, we're going to give Roy a follow. And we're going to see clubs. We got the Irish Chess Club. Roy, my special wish, of course, is that you create a Galway Chess Society club. Get your bros in there. That would be amazing for the dojo as well as maybe for you. We got a game, Roy. We got The Enemy. Oh, this was played a while. Oh, this is weird, actually. So this one was played more recently. Let's look at this one. The Enemy. Who is the enemy, Roy? Who is the enemy? Okay, here's the enemy. All right. So first thing we're going to take a look is at your time graph. And given the fact that this is 18 moves long, it's not poor. Okay, so the time graph looks okay. Let's go game review. And we're going to take a look here. So far, so good. This move c6 might look weird, but it has really two ideas. One, to dominate the knight. Well, let's call 3 ideas. The other, to get the queen out. And then also maybe b5, b4, just to give white a little grief on that e4 square. So I think a4 is probably necessary, and now b5 is a good move. b5 is still a good move. Okay, e5. b5 is still a good move. Ooh, ed4, not great. I figured taking white's d-pawn was the right approach, breaking up white's center. Okay, now white should have a small edge. Good. Okay. Bishop e6. I wanted to continue my piece development, and I was also thinking about expanding on the queen side. All right, knight e6. I'm not sure about that. Rook d1, and now you get to play d5. Okay. So what should white have done? Definitely rook ad1 first. Simple chess. Now you're allowed to play d5. You should be fine. Takes, ooh, that's not good. ed5. Look how he just opened your rook. Here I was pretty happy. Although on paper white is ahead in development, I think the quality of developed pieces is on black side. And white will have to spend some time to maneuver them to better squares. Great. So notice, let me just do a little diagnostic on your opponent. Your opponent, I think, was afraid maybe you're going to isolate his pawn or something. And this is horrendous because now this rook is suddenly so strong. It's so strong. It wasn't clear what it was doing before. Now it's clear. And really, when we think about development, this guy is probably going to need to move. And this guy too. They're just coconuts in that X-ray gun. So he owes you time all of a sudden now. Knight a4, not great. Knight d7, good. c4. What is white doing? They're not developing. All right, now we need a good move. And you played knight e5. Okay, I think that's fine. I do have questions, though. Does queen e5 win a coconut? That would be my question. Remember what we were saying? Like earlier, we were like, oh, this dude isn't developing. Now, it's not 100% over because dude can play king f2. But let's say the obvious. That's not the thing he wanted to play. And rook f8 would introduce this knight e4 thing, which would be kind of, well, it would be very unpleasant for a peasant. Okay, knight e5. Snip, snap. Bishop c4. Snip. Thank you very much. So his opponent moves too hasty and simply misses that my knight can take. So as you can see, even at these higher ratings, what we are seeing is people losing games because they are moving too fast. And Far Eastern says, the enemy, the faceless void of the opponent. That's right. That's pretty good. So, Roy, really cool. We're going to see you again, I think. Maybe we'll even get a Galway Chess Society club. And those were some good annotations. Hopefully I was a little helpful in the things I said, because you'll probably get something similar again. So we got Will Chiss. I don't know what's going on, Will Chiss. There's nothing here. A lot of times when people are higher rated, they are too proud to look at their games because really it's too painful. Might be what's going on here. So, also we're going to say something obvious, that when you get up this high in chess.com, it's a real bummer because it's almost everyone at that level is going to be cheating against you. So definitely we're going to say a couple things. First, do we got any clubs? No. Do we got any games? So we'll just a couple basic things. Obviously, we want to see some games from you. Next, it's really important once you get this high to start thinking about either OTB or playing in the dojo round robin, because you're just going to face too many cheaters where you're at, and it's just going to distract. It's going to be very distracting. It's going to be annoying to face all those cheaters. You might start losing your mind. All right? Okay. So let's take a quick look at Kostya. I'm cringing a little bit. He's playing this chump rated a gazillion points lower. He had a beautiful middle game. He was working him a little bit in the end game, though, so I'm going to click. We're going to see what it looks like. Holy moly. I think Kostya's winning this, dude. Yep, game over. Dang. So knight f4 was landed. And this position might be terrible for white, but definitely this loses the game instantly. because the king must cede ground, and then that's it. Goodbye, Lucy. Now let's just make sure. Let's just make sure. King b2 maybe. King d3. I mean, this is goodbye, Lucy. This is goodbye, Lucy. The pawn is running. And if you go the other way, we say, welcome to the dojo. Game over. So, very nice fighting spirit from Kostya. Obviously, he'll be disappointed that it had to take this long and so much energy was spent beating this guy. He chose King d2. But it's always very satisfying to win a game based on competitive spirit, right? That's basically how this ended. He's playing a 1690. Oh, man. That would have been a big bummer for him if he hadn't won that one. Kostya doing the mostya. All right, my friends, I am going to be out of here. I'm going to raid somebody. And this has been the ChessDojo Training Program. We have a big update coming out tomorrow. Lots of stuff. We're going to have YouTube videos on the different features that are coming out. I've got a lot of work to do still today to make sure everything's in place. So I am going to be out of here. I will be back next Wednesday, and we're going to do more. Who are we going to raid? Let's raid GM Benjamin Bach, friend of the dojo. He usually does something fun. All right, everybody. Ciao, ciao. Bye. This has been the dojo. Say hello to Benjamin. Benjamin Book. Book. Ich habe kein Bock. All right, bye, everybody.